Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, happy New Year's Eve and welcome to the 1973 podcast. Here we go again. It's almost a new year, depending on when you're watching it. Happy New Year, happy New Year's Eve. We're ready. We're ready for another year. You guys ready?
Do it.
Yeah.
Let's go.
My voice is shot. I was yelling yesterday at the Boston Garden.
It's a garden.
Yeah. So, yeah, my voice is pretty much toast. So a lot to talk about. AEW news, some live stuff happened last night. We were talking before we went on the air. The cracks are starting to show in AEW. A lot of stuff going on. People leaving. Nobody saying much about the Jericho thing. Want to quickly touch on that, and then we'll get to the emails. Tom,
Yeah. Well, they've lost a few guys backstage, a few people backstage. QT Marshall left his backstage role, and because he didn't like the direction. One of the Jacksons, his wife, she announced she was leaving because she was pissed that they didn't stick up for her husband enough during the whole CM Punk debate. There's supposed to be a couple of wrestlers that they announced that they were leaving. Sean Spears announced that he was leaving, and from what I heard, there was something backstage during the weekend. I think Andrade, it was his last night as well, and so they're starting to show a few cracks now. Can say the same thing. I won't say the same thing, but there's a big loss. Somebody backstage big in WWE is leaving. Kevin Dunn, who was like a big name backstage, he announced he was leaving their company. So, I mean, it goes both ways, but WWE's in a heck of a lot better position right now than AEW.
Brad, Chris, got anything on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think Punk and Cody Rhodes leaving when they did was pretty telling of what was going on in AEW. Now, I quit watching wrestling for years. Ed actually got me back into wrestling through AEW. So I was like, man, this stuff is great. It's old school wrestling. It's pure. It's not sports entertainment. WWE, sports entertainment. AEW, professional wrestling. Let's distinguish the two. I was totally into it. But even within a couple of months of watching, I was like, I don't know if I can keep up with the way they're running this program. And then when a lot of their top talent, dudes that I was a fan of back in the day, started coming back to WWE, then me and the boy got in it. Now I think we're mostly all just WWE. And every time I try to come back to AEW, it's the writing sucks, the storytelling sucks. I'm sorry. I can't just get behind it. They got some star talent left till AEW vultures them too. But how long is that going to be?
Chris, anything to add?
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree with Brad more. I mean, I was off of wrestling for a little bit, and AEW came, and I was just like, oh, shit, Attitude Era again. You got that feeling that it was just like, yeah, I got to watch this. This is great. The ship is clearly sinking fast. Who's going to jump off before it becomes like an Impact or just, completely off TV and stuff? It's time for these guys to get a move on and get locked up to a better program, that's for sure, because it's not looking good.
Ed?
I mean, this started over a year ago. I mean, this goes back to Andy when you and I used to be texting back and forth on Wednesday night, long before we even started the podcast. You and I kept talking about, it started with the Fonzie thing, it was one of those things where it's like these guys are doing, finishing moves that have been finishing moves that ended the match years ago. The writing, it became like, basically Starrcade 1985 every single week. You can't sustain that. And the storytelling just got worse and worse and worse. And the thing about it is that when you let the talent take control, bottom line is that this is exactly what's going to happen. This started a year ago. This is nothing new. This is where this direction of the company's been going. So it's not a surprise.
Credit, before we move on, because this is another thing we could talk about for the whole half an hour. Credit to Cody Rhodes for leaving, seeing the cracks, and credit to Triple H for coming in and maybe embracing Cody Rhodes and saying, hey, listen, who should we poach from AEW? Who's worth it in your eyes?
Excellent point, Andy. Excellent point.
Who can we bring in that will fit the mold? And if you notice, like I said from the beginning, how can you make Kenny Omega and the Jackson brothers EVPs of a company when you've never stepped foot into WWE. They'll never go there. If they do, they'll be super desperate, but they'll never go there because they don't fit the narrative that Triple H is trying to make for the WWE. And Kevin Dunn leaving, not a loss. I heard he's nothing but a piece of crap behind the scenes. So good riddance to him. It's definitely a new era for WWE, and I can't wait.
It's just bad storytelling.
Yeah,
It's
and
bad
it's the first
storytelling. And
time.
the thing is that, Andy, you and I talked about this before. This is before we even started the podcast, is that too many different storylines. Too many different storylines in AEW, right? Like the thing about it is too many championships. I mean, like for me, like some of the stuff that was going on, I'm like, I don't even know half these guys, and they show up and they're challenging for a belt on a regular Wednesday night. That doesn't make any sense to me. It's a poor build. It does, you know. It's just like what Ric Flair always talks about. Like I'll lose to anybody anywhere, but and same thing with Stone Cold. I just need to know why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one thing to put a cap in this whole thing, if WWE wants to change the course of where they're going, it doesn't have to be on TV. But when you get to the pay-per-views for the blow-offs, you got to have the blood. Bring the blood back, and you got me 100%. 100%. Save it for a blow-off, save it for a grudge match, save it for storytelling, and I'll be 100% on board with WWE for probably the first time in my life, because I was the biggest NWA guy growing up. I hated the cartoon WWE, WWF at the time. So yeah, let's just put a cap in that. And Ed, we're going to kick it to you this week for emails. Go ahead.
Absolutely. So brought to you by Goonguard, Goonguard.com. Don't forget the promo code 1973. Cutting edge mouth guard. Microwave it, less than 10 seconds, sets up in your mouth. You can actually talk with it. It's great, not only just for hockey, but also for all sports as well. Come in youth and adult sizes. Also come in where you can actually attach it to your helmet if you were playing football or if you're wearing a cage playing hockey. Goonguard.com. Check them out. 1973 is the discount code. All right. So this one comes right here from Jay from Boulder, Colorado. Hey, 1970.3. The subject is Iron Claw movie. Thoughts on the Von Erich Iron Claw movie? I only knew of Texas Tornado and didn't know anything about the brothers. I'm going to kick it to whoever wants to go first. I'll finish up at the end.
It must be a younger fan writing in, because if you only know Kerry Von Erich as a Texas Tornado, I got pretty much no time for you. I know that this is a big kind of thing going on with people trying to figure out where these guys came from and everything. It's a whole deep. This could be a whole deep dive, I think, for maybe a half an hour episode.
I agree.
I don't know if you want to wait on this, and maybe we could hit this hard and going into like a wrestling type.
Well, I think we could touch on the email. I think we can give it 90 seconds to 2 minutes each, and then I think I think we should all go as our homework and go all watch it and then check it out and come back, and we can actually do a whole episode of that. And we could probably do that the week after the Super Bowl. That's what I think.
Okay, we'll save it for the week after the Super Bowl, but everybody's got until then to do your homework and watch it. Go ahead, Brad.
AC, I know you say you don't got time for people, but look, man, I don't know who the Von Erichs was till that movie came out. Bro,
you live closer to Texas than I do.
I barely remember the Texas Tornado, and I was today years old when I found out he was a Von Erich. And I was like, oh, that guy used to be my jam when I was 5 years old.
The whole room is spinning right now, Brad. I can't believe it.
Bro, I was barely even able to speak when I was watching, the Texas Tornado. I barely remember that guy. So.
Wow, I'm showing my age.
Oh my God, the big one's coming, Andy. The big one's coming.
Yeah, don't have an aneurysm, man.
So, Tom, you want to add anything, Chris, before we move on?
Yeah, I mean, real quick, I was born in '87, all right? I completely missed all of it. But as a wrestling fan and how much I enjoy the history of wrestling, Ric Flair, way back, like I watched The Dark Side of the Ring of the Von Erichs. It was a great, great episode. Just an amazing family of athletic specimens these guys were. They were huge. They were in shape. They had talent, up the ass. God-fearing family. You know what I mean? It was just they were respected by hundreds, thousands, millions of people down in Texas, and one of the biggest, most prominent, probably families in the business. In the history. They're right there with the Hearts, and so yeah, I appreciate the history of it. Do I remember any matches? No, but yes, the Von Erichs, can't
Roast
can't
them,
lose out
Andy.
on that.
Roast them.
Oh, Chris, we're gonna have to just put it. We'll do a whole deep dive on this. I promise. So was it Jay Ed from Boulder, Colorado? We're gonna have to.
It was.
Tom, you got to add something to this before.
Oh,
we
this is up my wheelhouse. This is where I started watching wrestling on Channel 25 at like Saturday at 11 o'clock. Von Erichs were my favorite wrestlers growing up, and I just loved it. I can't wait till we get into it to talk about it. I think it was Jay that did the email. I can't wait to see the movie. I know a couple of people that have seen it and said that it was really good. There were a couple of miscasts they were saying, but I can't wait to watch it.
Yeah, I think for this it'd be great to catch it on DVD because I think the outtakes from it that they're going to add back in, they cut all the MJS stuff out as Lance Von Erich, and that's a storyline in itself. Where after I think it was Mike died, they brought in Lance, so they brought in Lance somewhere in there in the middle, and he wasn't even a real Von Erich, and they fooled the family into thinking that, fooled the fans into thinking that he was actually family. So a whole big thing. Those guys were so over in Texas that Kerry Von Erich and his wife were traveling back into the country from Mexico. They got stopped at the border. Kerry had drugs on him, and it was in the kayfabe era. And the next day in the paper, they put that it must have been the Freebirds that planted drugs on Kerry because there's no way that would ever happen. That's a true story. That's how over they were. It was kayfabe. 100% those guys were like bigger than rock stars. If you ever watch those guys come to the ring between like 83 and 84, watch them come to the girls that dive at them to try to pull them. They were like rock. It was unbelievable. So go ahead, Ed.
No, I was just going to follow up about the Freebirds. I mean, I remember watching it on ESPN. This was before ESPN had all this other content to put on. And I remember seeing them come out against the Freebirds. And I remember seeing, like, there were feuds that they would have with the Freebirds were just out of control. I mean, and to talk about how they would walk to the ring and just to touch on there were things, the Von Erich family got away with so much in the state of Texas, like a lot of drinking and driving type stuff. I totally forgot about the story about the drugs coming across the border and stuff like that. But I mean, just to see how much they got over in the state of Texas is just unbelievable. I'm really excited to go watch the movie. I'm really excited about it. And I can't wait.
That year of 1984, 83 Christmas into 84 when David died in May, from Christmas till May, that was the hottest territory going. It was hotter than the WWE with Hogan. It was the hottest territory, and it all started with this angle on Christmas night where they screwed Kerry in the cage with the Von Erichs and the Freebirds, and they slammed the cage door. It started the whole thing. Freaking nuts. We'll have to get into it more. If you get a chance, go on YouTube, watch that match with Kerry and Ric Flair in the cage. Unbelievable. So, Ed, we're going to put a pin in that, and we're going to
All right, Goonguard.com. Check it out. Discount code 1973. Great product. We're really excited about it. Thank you very much for the sponsorship. So thrilled.
Thomas, that's your cue.
Yes.
Cue.
All right. Tom Shitty Picks is brought to you by Brock Street Brewing Company, located at 244 Brock Street South in Whitby, Ontario. The brewery is home to a banquet hall, an on-site restaurant, and a members lounge. Everything they brew is done in the house, including all their award-winning sours, lagers, and vodka sodas. They have something for everyone. So if you're in Whitby, go check them out. So this week here, my fantasy player, they haven't played yet, is Puka Nacua. But for next week, I'm going to go with Josh Allen versus Miami. It's going to be a must win for Buffalo. I think they may play for the AFC East because I think Miami may lose today to Baltimore. They're going to be playing, Miami's playing without Raheem Mostert and Jalen Waddle today. So they're going to have a hard time beating Baltimore. So if Miami loses and Buffalo wins today, next week, if Buffalo wins, they'll win the East. So that's my pick. I think Josh Allen's going to take everything on his back and going to have a big day.
All right, so let's, Tom, let's keep it rolling and let's get the football picks in.
All righty. So this is our final week. We're picking right here for the regular season anyway. It'll be week 18. First game of the week is going to be the Cincinnati Bengals at home against the Cleveland Browns. Andy.
Should I say it? Yeah, going to the Super Bowl, Cleveland Browns.
All righty. Brad.
Bro, I'm so on this Cleveland Browns bandwagon. It's not even funny.
You
I
bought a
think
shirt
Amari
yet?
Cooper got hurt though, right?
Yeah. Buy
Cooper
a,
hurt?
buy a
So I
shirt.
don't know. Even that, I'm picking Cleveland. Man, let's roll.
All
Buy
righty.
buy a Tom Brown shirt and a Cleveland Brown shirt.
All
There you
right.
go.
Chris.
Shit, buy a Joe Flacco jersey. Come on
Yup.
now. This guy, what is this guy doing right now out of retirement? He's unbelievable tearing up Cleveland.
All righty. Ed.
Browns all the way, baby.
Yeah, I'm going with Cleveland as well. Got to go with the old guy. Flacco's probably about our age, so he's getting up there. So I'm going with him.
Like, when you say our age, Tom, you mean the guys that watch the Von Erichs? Those guys?
Yes.
Yeah. I was born in
Texas
82.
tornado.
Give me a break.
All right, game 2. Detroit Lions at home against the Minnesota Vikings. Andy.
The other Super Bowl affiliate, the Lions.
All righty, Brad.
Even though the Cowboys handled out business last night against Detroit. I'm
Oh,
still
cut
gonna
it
pick
out
them.
right now. Just stop it. Stop it right now with that foolishness. Stop it.
All
Just
right,
Stop it.
Chris.
Yeah, terrible ending to a good game last night, but Detroit will get back on the win.
All righty, Ed.
I'm gonna go with the old commercial with the big lion on the guy's back, and then it gets traded.
All righty, I'm going with Detroit as well. At Minnesota, too many injuries. Playing their fourth or fifth quarterback now. All right, next game: Green Bay Packers at home against the Chicago Bears. Andy.
Give me the Fudge Packers.
All righty, Brad.
Go Pack, go for that one.
All righty,
I think they said
Chris.
that.
Yep.
I like cheese. Let's go with the Packers.
All righty, Ed.
It's a pick'em game. I'm going with the Bears.
All righty. I'm trying to catch Ed, so I'm going to go with Green Bay in this game. You're still a game ahead of me, Ed. So, all right. Next game: Tennessee Titans at home against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Andy.
Give me Tony Khan's favorite team, the Tennessee Titans.
All righty, Brad.
I'm gonna roll with Jacksonville on this one.
All righty, Chris.
Yeah, we're gonna go Jacksonville. I'm thinking Lawrence will be back for that game.
All righty, Ed.
Jags.
Yep, I'm going with Jacksonville as well. I agree with Chris. I think Lawrence will probably be
choice.
back. All right, next game: the
Brad,
Indianapolis.
you're just trying to make friends.
Yes, you know me, the governor. Indianapolis Colts at home against the Houston Texans. Andy.
Give me Von Erich country.
All righty. Brad.
I think Minshew Magic is finally over with, so Houston.
All righty. Chris.
Yeah, definitely Houston.
Ed.
I'm going with Texas.
Yeah, I am too. I think Stroud's back this week. They're gonna. I think they'll take it. Next game: Las Vegas Raiders at home against the Denver Broncos. Andy.
Give me the Raiders.
All righty. Brad.
I think the Broncos are a dumpster fire of a team. It is more than just what's going on the field. Season's done. I'll go with the Raiders on that one.
Yep. Chris.
I'm gonna go with the Broncos.
All righty. Ed.
I'm going to go with the Raiders here, and I think a lot of this is that even though I'm going to disagree with Brad a little bit on this, I don't think it's a dumpster fire. I think Sean Payton is setting the tone, being like, "Look, if you don't want to do it my way, you can leave, and nobody is exempt."
Well, this whole thing, I think it's a lot more than that too. I think the whole thing was they asked Russell Wilson to restructure his contract because it was something to do with if he got injured the next 2 games, he'd get like $39 million, and he refused, and they told him they were going to bench him. So I think that's really the main story.
But I mean, that's my point, though. That's not being a team player. I mean, like, you know what I mean? Like, look, help us. We want to build a winning team. Like, you having $39 million to get the cap, that hurts the team. Just saying.
I'm going with the Raiders as well. They're playing well under Pierce. Next game, probably the game of the week: Miami Dolphins at home against the Buffalo Bills. Andy.
Give me the Bills.
Brad.
Yeah, Bills Mafia, steamrolling.
Chris.
I'm gonna take Miami at home on that one, even though the Bills need it more.
All righty. Ed.
If the Dolphins don't sit everybody, I'm still going to go with the Dolphins, but I think that they may not even need this game. So, but I'm going to still going with the Dolphins.
All right. I'm going with Buffalo. I think they need the game a lot more. And Miami's dealing with injuries, so we'll see what happens. Probably the worst game of the week now, the New England Patriots at home against the New York Jets. Andy.
Jets.
Brad.
Patriots? I don't know.
All right. Chris.
Yeah, Pats.
Ed.
I'm going with the Patriots, man. You know, I don't know. It seems to me like that they've kind of turned the corner here a little bit, you know?
Zeke's playing well, that's for sure.
He's sick. He may not play today.
Oh, that's too bad.
I'm going to go with the Patriots. I mean, if they can't beat Simeon at quarterback, I don't care how well Breece Hall is playing. If they can't beat Simeon. All right. Next game, New Orleans Saints at home against the Atlanta Falcons. Andy.
Give me the Saints.
All righty. Brad.
Yeah, hard to not pick the Saints when they're playing in New Orleans. So,
Chris.
Yeah, Saints.
Ed.
I'm going to go with the Saints, even though that they are monkeys humping a football this year.
I'm taking the Saints as well. The Atlanta front office and their coach, they're a mess right now. All kinds of problems. All right. Next game, the New York Giants at home against the Philadelphia Eagles. Andy.
Give me the Eagles.
All righty. Brad.
I want the Giants to win this one so bad. I don't know if they can. I gotta pick the Eagles.
All righty. Chris.
I was wondering why Andy took so long thinking about that. I gotta go Eagles.
All righty. Ed.
Eagles.
Yeah, I agree. They may end up sitting a lot of guys. I don't know. This week 18 is always tough because you don't know who will sit guys or not. So I'm gonna take the Eagles. But all right, next game, the Arizona Cardinals at home against the Seattle Seahawks. Andy.
Seagulls.
All righty. Brad.
What was the choices? Oh, Seahawks.
All righty. Chris.
Seahawks.
Ed.
Home of the 13th man.
Yep, I'm going to take Seattle as well. Next game, Los Angeles Chargers at home against the Kansas City Chiefs. Andy.
The NFL's favorite team, the Chiefs.
Brad.
The Chiefs are struggling, but hard to not pick them playing the lowly Chargers. So Chiefs for me on this one.
All righty. Chris.
Yeah, I'm going way off on this one. I need Easton Stick to put up 30 today for my fantasy Super Bowl. So let's go Chargers.
I put up 30 one time with an Easton Stick.
That was on a Friday against me probably. So, all right, Ed.
I'm going to go with the State Farm Taylor Swift's favorite team. I'm going to go with the Chefs.
Pfizer's favorite team.
That too.
I'm also going with the Chiefs.
Hey, easy. I mean, they have a much bigger law firm behind them than we do. Okay, easy.
Next game, San Francisco 49ers at home against the Los Angeles Rams. Andy.
I will take Freddie Mercury's favorite football team, the Niners.
All righty. Brad.
Hard to say because I don't know if this game's even gonna matter. However, the Rams are playing pretty well right now, and they do need to win. So I'll pick the Rams for this one.
All right, Chris.
Niners.
All righty. Ed.
I'm going with the Niners. I think they're going to sit a lot of people. I think they're pretty dinged up, but they're going to sit a lot of people, and they really do have like that next man up philosophy with them too. So I'm still going with the Niners.
I'm going to go with the Rams. I think they're playing really well right now, and I think the Niners are going to sit a lot of guys, and so I think the Rams will eke it out. Next game, the Washington Commanders at home against the Dallas Cowboys. Andy.
End of the week.
I'm going to have to go with the Cowboys on this one.
All righty, Brad.
What else? Who else would you pick, Andy? And after that impressive
I only had
win,
2 options.
after such an impressive win last night, how can you not pick the Dallas Cowboys? Going all the way, Cowboys, sign me up right now.
Chris.
Dallas.
Ed.
I'm going with the Cowboys.
All right. I'm taking Dallas, but I'll tell you, Brad, they're never going to win Stanley Cup. They're never going to
Yeah,
win an
that
NFL
too.
championship with McCarthy as coach. He is the worst freaking manager of a game that I've seen. He's terrible. They should have lost that game last night.
Look,
How they don't
we
run the ball.
inducted. Look, we finally gave Jimmy Johnson his spot in the Ring of Honor. The curse is broke. Clearly, the script has changed. We're making a run.
All right.
It's happened.
Don't forget there was a NWA title change in 1984 right there. Kerry Von Erich, Ric Flair. Just pass on. Go.
All right. Carolina Panthers at home against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Andy.
Ampon Bay.
All righty. Brad.
Baker Mayfield is my second favorite quarterback behind Joe Flacco right now. So I'm gonna pick Tampa Bay.
All righty. Chris.
Yeah, Baker Mayfield ain't doing shit right now, but we'll go with Tampa Bay.
All righty. Ed.
John Gruden is not walking out that door. All right, neither is Tony Dungy, but I'm going with the Bucks.
I am going to go with Tampa Bay as well. And my prediction for next year, Baker Mayfield is going to be the quarterback for the Patriots. They're going to throw everybody off. They're not going to be in this position to draft a quarterback they're going to have the fourth pick. The two quarterbacks they want are going to be gone. They're going to take either an offensive lineman or Harrison, and they're going to sign Mayfield.
Look at that face.
They're going to sign him to a 2-year deal. Watch. That's my prediction.
Nah.
All right. The final game of the Week 18 slate. The Baltimore Ravens at home against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Andy.
Give me the Ravens.
All righty. Brad.
Every time I pick the Steelers to win, they lose. But still, I'm gonna pick the Ravens.
All righty. Chris.
On that note, I will go with Pittsburgh at home.
All righty. Ed.
I think that Pittsburgh is a dumpster fire, and it is not the coach. He is a great coach, and if Pittsburgh ever fired him, that would be a huge mistake. It's the players, especially that number 14. He lack of effort right there. So I'm going with the Ravens. Quote the Ravens, nevermore. Yeah.
I'm going to go with Pittsburgh for two reasons. One, I have to catch Ed. And two, I think Baltimore is going to sit a lot of guys. With all the injuries they already have, I think they're going to be afraid to get somebody hurt, especially in a rivalry game like this. So I'm going to take Pittsburgh. All right, AC, that's it.
Okay, so we don't have an album of the week this week, Tom, so you're off the hook for that. But what I want to do for the last couple minutes is I just want everybody's podcast, like New Year's resolution for this coming year. Tom, start it with you.
First off, I want to say my New Year's Eve attire is all hockey socky right here.
Whoa, buddy. Whoa.
Hey. Don't worry. It's the back flap that's open, Brad. Don't worry.
I'm about to be a pay for membership type of thing going on.
We could use that too.
We're on a shoestring budget, so I got to make some money somewhere. So, all right, my resolution, I don't really have much of one, but I just want to continue to grow with the podcast, and who knows, maybe we'll actually hit it big and start making a little bit of money. So I want to thank Andy for actually getting us to start this thing. So that's all I got.
Chris, what do you got?
Let's see. I don't really have much. I guess my resolution will be to make friends with Brad. I don't see that happening, but you never know. You never know. One day we might see eye to eye. You know what I mean? We might not be after each other's tails. We'll see how it goes. All good fun.
Brad, what do you got?
Who?
You.
Oh, me. I actually want to get that same setup as Chris. That is my resolution. Like real talk, that's some sweet podcast swag that he has going on. I don't know if I can pull off the Kenneth Cole. I mostly wear Old Navy stuff. I'm high class white trash. So but definitely want the mic, the webcam. That way my head doesn't look so tiny compared to the rest of y'all.
Ed, what do you got?
I just want to say, I'm very thankful for you putting this podcast together, and it was a great idea. It allows me to connect with two of my really good, really childhood friends, and I can't thank you guys enough. And it's nice to,
I'm his best friend.
Big Chris, huh?
I said I'm your best friend.
Yeah, Brad, you're my best friend. So it's nice to know that once a week I get to connect with 4 awesome dudes, and I'm very thankful for it. And
and you and me.
Yeah, me and my best friend. Yeah, Eddie.
Hey, listen, I just wanted to thank everybody when we end this year with nothing but love and appreciation for you guys. I know sometimes we push schedules aside for certain things to get this done. I mean, if we ever made it a little longer, it would kind of cut into more family time and more things that we do. So, I'd like to see it grow. I'd like to have more guests on. I think that's pretty awesome when we can get people on, especially when they acknowledge the podcast and they really it seemed thankful to be on. That I mean, it started with just three guys talking, and now we're at a point where we've had 4 or 5 people on that are guests. We've had somebody from
Knuckles Nelson.
Yeah, a
Boone
wrestler, a company, a business owner, a childhood friend with a story. I mean, there's people that we've
More to
kind of-
come.
more to come. Working on a few things. It's tough because you shoot something out there, people don't get back to you, and then you're kind of in limbo, and then they're like, "What'd you forget about me?" No, you never responded. Just little things like that. So I appreciate everything that everybody does. It's a lot. Sometimes it's a lot of work. It's a lot of late nights. Staying up past I'm supposed to for work the next day, and it's just a matter of putting smiles on people's faces, maybe venting a little bit, and having a few laughs, and yucking it up with your buddies, like if you were sitting in the same room watching games or something like that. So I just want to tell everybody Happy New Year, and we appreciate everything that everybody does with watching and sharing. And I'm losing my voice. It's crazy. I should be back to 100% next week. But yeah, I just want to thank you guys so much for a 1 year of really fun stuff. But fuck this football. Let's get some hockey talk going.
Yes, let's go already.
Almost over. Almost over. Hey,
Well, we'll be
one
right-
thing. Who's the pick for national champions?
Bigfoot.
For college?
Yeah,
Michigan.
college. Yeah.
Oh, Alabama.
All right, roll Tide.
Yeah. You let them in, they're going to win. That's what I always say.
All right, roll Tide for me.
Wow. All right. So with that being said, we're going to end this week before
Portuguese
my
Phantom.
voice. Yep. Oh, there it is. Episode 50 coming up. Should be big. We're trying to get everybody on. That'll be fun. So from us to you, Happy New Year.
Talk to you next year.
Yep.
Happy New Year.
New Year.
Happy New Year.
2024, you fucks.